Well, good morning. It's Monday. It's December. Yes, it's already December 2nd. And I hope everyone had an absolutely fantastic Thanksgiving weekend. And we had snow in Kansas City. Beautiful. I'm not sure where everybody else is. Couple quick things. You probably saw it already that Hunter Biden was pardoned by the president, by his dad. So I'm not sure how that affects anything, but we also want to continue the journey of prayer as people are trickling back. I want to hear from Eran on this about the North and what it's like there. And is there any hope of a ceasefire in Gaza or not? It doesn't look like anything firm has taken a hold yet. And so, anyways, our prayers continue. So, Lord, thank you so much for this group of intercessors. Thank you so much for your kindness, Lord, to hear the cry of your people, and let the Isaiah 62 global army continue to rise up, oh Lord, to pray for Israel. And we thank you for Iran, and we thank you for his son Itamar that we've been praying for there in Gaza. And Lord, we're thanking you for extra angels round about him, even as we pointedly pray for him, and also healing and blessing on his other son, Jonathan, and his wife too. Father, thank you. Pour out your spirit upon all the National Leadership Center team, including Raheli. So here we are, Lord, another week to come before you. I'll go for it, Eran. Thank you so much. And just want to hear from you how to pray, what to pray. So thank you.
So, hi, Patricia, and it's great to see you all. And congratulations for your new grandson, correct, Patricia?
Thank you. Thank you.
So, such a blessing. May the Lord bless him. He's
Amen.
joined for a family of tzaddikim, we said in Israel. So, such a big blessing. And by
Thank
the
you.
way, Eran, it's a great name for a child if you want.
He does have a Hebrew middle name, so that's good. But
Great. So, yes, it started here with the ceasefire in the north. By the way, an hour ago, Hezbollah was stopped that and shoot two missiles on the north. They evaluate, of course, the ceasefire. Uh, we are trying to honor them, and we are trying to honor the ceasefire, and they respond to us with a missile, which is terrible because there is thousands and thousands of families that was hoping to start to recover and come home back. In this weekend, this family came back and found most of the houses ruined and destroyed. And there is a woman that left the laundry from the 7th of October in the machine. We saw that they ran away in the midst of that, and it was very hard to see. The government called the people to back, but it's very hard because the year of in the education system start, and most of the schools in the north are ruined, bombing, so it's no place to go, and it's going to take a couple of months to go back, and it's hard. It's very hard, especially the feeling of the environment of safety there, which is not happening because, as you can see, even if you consider to go back there, if an hour ago it was two missiles come back on Israel, on the people, I think nobody will bring his family, children's back to his house with this sense. I hope and prayer that the Netanyahu and his cabinet will punish them very severe about this violence of the ceasefire. Yes, I know that maybe it can be continued, but I think they have to understand, Hezbollah, that if they're going to do something to us, they're going to get 10 times more. And again, nobody wants war. Everybody wants peace. But I think if we are going to back to the places in the north and in the south, the other side have to understand, the enemy have to understand that it's going to be a big punishment. By the way, after the 423 days, 2 seconds ago, it was a missile alarm in the Gaza border. So we and my son is inside. So it's like, oh my gosh. But I think that as for Gaza, we don't see in the future, near future, that is going to end. The IDF is working there very hard. It's becoming like a guerrilla war. They are hiding. They are going out of these places and shoot on our soldiers. And as much as they are trying to be gentle, the other side, Hamas is controlling there like criminals. It's not an organized army. They are taking the food of the people. They are taking all the resource, fuel, and everything, and prevent from the common people, the day-by-day people in Gaza, to exist. We are continuing to bring them food. We are continuing to send trucks with supply, and they are taking that from there. More than that, we have
That's
101 still hostages that are there. We saw yesterday or in Shabbat night a movie about the soldier that is American citizen, and he was with the hostages there in a very bad situation. Maybe in a good, he look okay in healthy in health, but he don't look like a good person. And it's such a break the heart to see all of them. And every day we have another announcement about a soldier that is dying or a big severe injuries
Yeah.
of them, and this going and going and going. And we are entering to the winter, and the winter is going to be hard in Gaza for our soldiers. And this is from one for first hand testimony. My son is the Itamar, and they are very, very strong. They wants to fight. They wants to win, but it's very challenging. The weather, the mud, the rain, everything is very hard for them. But they are strong, and they have a very high moral, which is something that encourage me very much to see that the spirit is no low, the opposite. The spirit is high, and we have couple of the last week we have soldiers that came to the National Leadership Center, and you see strong young men that are fighting for 423 days. Didn't see the families, the officers. The guy that leads them didn't saw his wife more than 3 months, and he have a new baby. He didn't. He saw the just one after a couple of minutes after she go to the world, but his sacrifice is for the strong of Israel. So it's continued to be very challenging and very hard in Israel. And I think one of the things that we saw or reading in the synagogue in Shabbat in the portion that we was reading, it's called Toldot. It's the portion about the story of Isaac and Rebecca, the Rivka, and their son Jacob and Esav. And we see a word that Esav is the word of materialists, the word of hunters, and something that happened this moment, this now. And Jacob is represent the continuity. You see, he's representing the spiritual for the future. And I think one of the things that is very strong today, when I see people that are fighting, and they are fighting in a very spiritual way. It's not fighting with hate. They are fighting with love to Israel. They are fighting with understanding that this is the future of Israel, and they are fighting for continue for the next generations. And we see them every day that coming to the National Leadership Center, and they're so sure about their right and about the feeling that they have. And one of the days when we have in the NLC, the officers stand in the end and say to them, let's hug together because we are back to the field, we are back to fight, but we are fighting in the promise of Abraham. And all the soldiers start to dance and start to sing. And for me, I stand in the side and I have tears in my eyes because I see young people that happy to go to war. It's not a natural thing that people wants to go to war. It's not natural thing, for my understanding, that people are wants to fight. But the joy of they understand that they secure the future in Israel, and they are fighting in the name of something big than them. It's amazing to see. For me, it's such a bless with tears in my eyes. And the end of the portion, it's with the blessing of Isaac to Jacob, and the blessing of the land. And he blessed Jacob, and is blessed as the country of milk and the honey. And he said about the heavens and the fat of the land. But we understand and see that this land is demand for us hard work, and it's not just about securing in the IDF or by force or by with the weapons, but the big weapon is the spiritual weapon. The big weapon is the weapon of prayer. The big weapon is to understand that if you want the blessing with security, you need to have a bless with the spiritual fight that they have. And I think this is a message for all of us. And I think this is make me more understanding in what we are doing in the National Leadership Center. We are working and making strong the spiritual attacks against Israel, attacks that is threat Israel, and this is something that it's very very strong. And I see that what we are doing in the National Leadership Center and what we are bringing to the orphans and the widow is the legacy. Is the legacy that we are a nation that based on faith. We are a legacy. We are a nation that based on vision and values and unity. And I think that what we are need to pray, what we need to do more than ever today is to work on the spiritual side. I think it's very obvious that Israel is strong, the IDF is strong. I think it's very obvious that we can win, and we won. By the way, to say we won, it's a very wide thing. And from my perspective, to win is not just to win in a battlefield. I think to win is to win in the battlefield of faith, in the battlefield of happen here. Because what the devil did for us in the 7th of October, it put a nation in a test. He put the nation to start asking questions about where the 7th of October, and if God is there, why we need to trust him, what he did for us. This is a test. And I think that as the promise of Isaac to Jacob and what Jacob did after that in a spiritual way, we have to disconnect ourselves. And it's very hard day by day. And I can tell you for sure in a very personal level, when my son is in the battlefield, to disconnect myself from this situation and focus on a spiritual thing and say to the God, I did my thing as a parent until this moment. From here, you are in charge of him. And I release myself from being in charge of and this is a very, very hard situation for a father because you want to control, you want to help, you know that it's cold and you want to bring him a coat, you want to cover him in a spiritual way, you want to lay his hand on him and pray for him, but you cannot do it. You cannot do it because this war is putting us in a test of a spiritual thing. And when my big son, Jonathan, was injured, was a spiritual attack on us as a family. Because when and I think most of you are parents here, think about the phone call that you get from the IDF and said your son is injured, come to the hospital. And from this moment, you are focusing just on the material, on the short term, on the and what is going to be in the next few minutes, and what is going to be in the next few hours. But if you are see him after that, you start to pray, you understand that the long distance battle, this is the real battle. The long distance of recovery from post-trauma, it's not something that you can, it's not going to disappear. And I think this is what is the nation now is focusing. We understand that there is a test here, but also we understand that we need to see far. We need to see back behind the history, but we need to see far. And I think this is what is Israeli now is focusing. We are, yes, so they shoot another 2 missiles and we are going to punish them. And yes, but I think it's more and more understanding how we are going to heal the nation, how we are going to take this trauma and make it a post and deal with the post trauma. And I think we start to see that the government is more focusing on the post-trauma. We see that the government is more focused in how we are taking care of the citizens. I see that in the children's area. And I think that we cannot run from that. Because as I told you in the past, every child that is coming to the National Leadership Center, you can see that he's in trauma. You can see that. And yesterday I was in the municipality in a meeting, and somebody fell from his hand a glass, and people are literally was hiding behind under the table, adults, not children. And you understand that there are people, every noise, every we have we continue, as you know, we are continue to do stuff in the NLC. So we build the bomb shelter and a lot of stuff through the war, and we have a Arab contract that came, and he started speaking Arab, and my trainers will start to be like afraid that there is a terrorist that is start to attack them. So this is the state of mind of thinking how we are survive. But I think now we are changing and shift gears from a survival mode to a grow mode. From a survival attack for a physical attack, we are now focusing a shift gear to a place of spiritual growth. And I think the center in the junction in history that we are standing now, I think we are very close to the time that we are going to shift gears and start heal and start grow. And I think what we are bringing the National Leadership Center since the 8th of October, this is something that is very critical. And for me, under the battles that we have as a nation, as a family, myself, is one of the children's, a son of a widow from the IDF, say to us in the end of the day, he said to his mother, he looked her in the eyes after the leap of faith, and he said, "Mommy, I have hope." And for me, this was the instruction. Like God said to Abraham, "Go you." And when this child say to his mother, "Mommy, I have a faith," for me, was the big Hollywood sign what we are going to do in the National Leadership Center. And if I have the resource, I will build a big sign in the National Leadership Center and write there hope, tikva. And this is what we are doing. And sometimes we are looking for a big plans and a big, and it's becoming a one small child that lost his father, his dear, dear father, the precious thing in his life, and it was sorrow. He didn't choose to be an orphan. He didn't choose to be there. He came with sorrow and tears. His mother lost the faith that she can heal and repair the family because she need to repair herself. And this child said to her, "Mommy, I have hope." And I think that if I can summarize that with that idea, I think with this order and this thing that this child said to us, and is a 13 years old, is a bar mitzvah child, I think we have to go with the feeling that we are strong. And I think now we have to shift gears and say, okay, we have hope. We recover. And the last weekend I was in Poland. I was in Auschwitz-Birkenau for 2 days. And I saw and remember again what was building from the ashes of the Holocaust, This is what is going to be in Israel. We are going to, from these ashes of the 7th of October, with more than 800 soldiers that was died, thousands of soldiers that was injured, trauma, 100 people that evacuate, from these ashes, from this trauma, we are going to grow. And I see the strong young people, and this is my, because old people like us, we are continue. Young people, they can or be in a place of darkness and start to behave in a darkness things, or they can take it and grow. And one of the things that we see, and this is, I hope, and this is our prayer, to make a project with the Ministry of Education, is how to make, and what the Ministry of Education like and love about what we are doing through the war. We are speaking about heroes, we are speaking about the Bible, but we are speaking about the act of leadership, is how to do an active thing for your community, for your family. And yes, if your mother, she is broken now, and if your brother is injured in battle, as a child, you have to raise from the convenience place and do the act of leadership. And for me, it symbolized the spirit of the Jewish people since the beginning of the Bible, and through all the Zionist narrative. And I know for sure that in history, a lot of nations came to kill us, and now they are not exist. We are going to be strong. We are very encouraging in Israel by the new government that President Biden is nominate. I think it's in the beginning we can see that there is a lot of pro-Israeli Jewish people that is going to be in this administration. And I think a very significant part of the healing is going to be this government and key people that are going to be and lead the US in the next years. Because
Mhm.
I think, and I told you before, if somebody can end this war, I think this is President Trump.
Wow.
And he is now elected with the good people around him. And I'm praying that this is going to be the change, and this is going to be the shift. And the Jewish people here are strong. And this is a huge encouragement. And I think that we can be very proud on the small part